Welcome back to Quantum Conversations. My name is Sarah, and today my co-host Carrie Bennett and I are going to be making these complex topics of quantum biology and circadian biology understandable to the everyday person. Thank you so much for tuning in. We ask that if you are listening on audio only, that you take a moment to leave us up to a 5-star review. And if you're on YouTube, leave us a like, leave us a comment. It will help to get the show out to more people. And before we jump into today's topic, just a quick reminder to head down to the show notes and check out my free resources as well as Carrie's free resources. We also do have courses on a variety of topics. If you are hoping to dive deeper, Carrie and I both have practitioner courses available as well for anyone who wants to begin to bring these topics to their clients and help them to implement these strategies into their daily lives. So check those out. We also have a co-taught course called Quantum Fertility that is available that allows people and practitioners to work on their fertility using these principles of quantum biology and circadian biology. Again, thank you so much for listening or watching today's show, whichever one you are doing. And let's go ahead and jump into it now. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Quantum Conversations. And I'm also going to post this on my channel as well, because I think that things we're going to talk about today are super important. And that is
all the mistakes we've made when doing quantum, what we wouldn't do or what we would do differently.
What we do differently if we were just starting over again. And I think people enjoy this type of thing because there's so much idealism and there's so much black and white thinking on social media, on YouTube, on everywhere. And it's easy to get pulled into, and then you end up kind of shooting yourself in the foot. So
yeah. And to think like we've done everything perfectly all along. And it's like, heck no. And it's like, I'm not even doing things perfectly right now. And it doesn't have to, right? You don't have to be there in order to. So where do you want to start with where you've gone wrong?
I mean, a lot of people know just from kind of my channel and things I've shared on social media that I started down this path, doing vegan for a while, which was not good. Then I did kind of paleo. Then I did carnivore, which was good at first and then not good, which led me to circadian biology, quantum biology, because I had to reverse all the things I did from depriving my body of carbs for 2 years. And I was just basically told that the more sun, the better, right? And I heard a lot of people saying things like, the sun doesn't age your skin. The sun is beneficial. There's like no downside to.
No such thing as too much sun, basically.
Right. Exactly. And I'm like, yeah, obviously, because everybody wants us dead. So
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I had this exact same experience. But also I thought the sun felt really good, right?
To me. So good.
Having gone from like
coming home, right?
Totally. So like having gone from like not really intermittent sun exposure, and like, or no sun, like certain parts of my body was like, I'm not going to sun that. You're like, so parts of my body literally probably had never seen the light of day.
My legs were fluorescent.
Same.
Fluorescent.
And I was wearing
so self-conscious of my legs.
Same. And can you think about the number of times, like you and I we were wearing yoga pants all the time, or workout, like leggings, synthetic leggings, microplastics up the wazoo, right? And not letting our legs see the light of day because we did. Yeah, I know. I know. It is what it is, right? You learn different, you do different. But you and I think when we found the sun, we started sunning ourselves a ton. Yeah. And there was a lot of people in the space, or not a lot, but there were some voices in this space at the time that were saying, don't listen to those idiots who tell you that the sun causes wrinkles or causes photo aging and stuff. And it's like, and so I was like, oh, the sun's not going to photo age. Fast forward one summer later, I'm like, where'd those wrinkles go?
I know we're going to take flack for talking about this.
We totally
I already got a direct message on Instagram from somebody this week that was like, you guys are talking about the sun and saying that it can be problematic. I'm so confused. It was this really long message. I was like, well, just stay tuned. We're going to come out with an episode to break this down a little bit more. Because it's a hard thing to do, is have nuance about these topics. And yeah, there are people that are like, so maybe let's back up. Like, where would somebody have the basis to say that? We know why modern dermatology says it. We know. Let's talk about both sides of the equation, just so people can do their own research and make their own decision, maybe.
Well, modern dermatology says that UV light can cause damage to skin cells that can lead to an inflammatory cascade, DNA mutations that cause skin cancer. But the vast majority, if not all, of that dermatology research is using artificial UV light.
Narrow band inside of a lab with no red and infrared, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the flip side of that is, you'll hear from the quantum biology space that sunlight contains a small little bit of UV, and at least 50% of it in the red and the infrared spectrum, which is super healing and soothing. It stimulates collagen. It promotes healing, wound healing, skin rejuvenation. Right, it's the wavelengths you'll find in red light therapy devices, which can be very healthy for the skin health, collagen. And so I heard, well, gosh, there's only a little bit of UV and tons of this collagen boosting red and infrared, so I can sun myself all the time, and I won't create any photo aging or collagen degradation.
Right.
And it just didn't prove to be true. Now, maybe other people had other experiences with this, or maybe people don't care about aging and wrinkles.
Here's the other thing. Oh, seed oils. Your diet, this, that, and the other. This happened to me while I was eating a seed oil free diet. I had been off of seed oils for at least 2 years, eating plenty of DHA rich seafood, we all have modern stressors. Like, we all have deficiencies. We all have things that are stressing out our mitochondria that can contribute to photoaging, and, age spots, things like that. Absolutely. That does play a role. But there's also, not only are there the people online that are saying the sun doesn't cause any photoaging, there's also the people that say, as long as you don't eat seed oils, because I know we'll get that in the comments, that it's impossible to burn your skin.
Yeah, I don't find that to be the case, actually. And again, okay, right? And people, if this doesn't resonate with you, move on. Okay. But what I'm saying is, my experience was that I've assumed that there was no way that the collagen in my skin could degrade in response to sunlight exposure. And fast forward a summer later, and I noticed it absolutely did. Now, I felt great. Don't get me wrong. I felt like $1,000,000, but I wanted to strike a little bit of a balance. Call me vain. I don't know. Right. But I wanted to strike a little bit of a balance in terms of, can I still feel the benefits of the sun without feeling like I am breaking down collagen in my skin? And I think I've figured out how to strike that balance, and I think you have too. And it's like, I sun parts of my body that maybe there's stronger collagen fibers in there, maybe because they're not getting continuous incidental sunlight exposure all day long when I'm just doing my outside walk and stuff like that. So I have no problem sunning my body, and I'll sun my face. But if I'm going to be doing a laying out for, let's say, 30 minutes on each side of my body, I'll cover my face. My face gets enough sunlight exposure just through incidental. And that does make a difference, because then you can use the infrared rich morning light before UV appears, and the sunset light and red light therapy, and you will start to see a collagen rejuvenation effect taking place. So light can be supportive of collagen, but it's absolutely possible to overdo it.
Absolutely. And it depends on your skin type. Totally. That is a huge part of it. Your mitochondrial haplotype, your skin type. There's so many different things that play into how well your body is going to adapt to the sun. You and I are both, I think we're both H2. Is that right? Yeah. And so our skin, our mitochondrial haplotype is basically like, we do well with cold, dark environments where there's more scarcity. I think the mitochondria can adapt I think we have an easier time adapting to more sun and being more south, much more so than somebody who is a southern haplotype and they try to live in a northern climate. Those people really, really, really struggle.
It can be very tough, yeah.
I think our haplotype can go south and have better adaptations. However, you still do have to take that into consideration. That's why in the My Circadian app, you can put your skin type in there and it's going to tell you like 10 minutes per side. If the UV index is an 8 or a 9 and it's just the very beginning of the season, yeah, go slow. You get so many benefits of sun, even if you're in the shade. That's what I think a lot of people think. For them to get benefits of sunlight, they think they have to be in absolutely direct sunlight, which is what I also thought. I didn't understand, like Zimmerman and Reiter's work, understanding how near infrared can reflect off of vegetation and
anything green, any greenery. Yeah.
Right. And allow us to make subcellular melatonin. We're getting circadian benefits of just being outdoors, even if we're in the shade. There's so many benefits of just being all the infrared. I mean, infrared, I think, is the unspoken hero of sunlight, really, for health benefits of the body. Vitamin D gets all the spotlight, but I think infrared really deserves a lot more credit when it comes to health benefits.
Right, because it expands that exclusion zone water, right? That's our battery of energy that we are just those wavelengths are so long, they penetrate us just by being in the heat, right? It doesn't have to be in direct sunlight. In the same way that a sauna has infrared, you don't have to be like directly on the, like laying on top of the panels. You just have to be sitting in the heat and that will penetrate you and do its thing. So yeah, and again, if this isn't a concern to you and you love how it feels on your face and you want to do it all the time, like that's fine. But I think a huge barrier to entry that I've heard, and people will make comments of this, a barrier to entry to getting more sunlight is aging. Right. We live in a society where all we see are anti-aging, get this treatment, that treatment, and it's like, okay, so if this is kind of the lens through which I'm trying to address something and get someone to buy into getting more sunlight when they've been told it's, number one, it causes cancer, and number two, it's going to age their skin, how can I pull back those barriers to entry? And so part of it is wear a hat. Right? Wear a hat and you'll still, like you said, get tons of the benefits of sunlight, even if it's not in direct contact with the skin of your face.
Right. That's what I do. I mean, the first year that I did this was my big mistake. I would go outside in the middle of the day and I would just walk on this track. Oof. And so I'm getting all this light reflecting up off the track. And I did, like, my face definitely aged. I even got some little sunspots on the side of my face, which I've talked about before. They're gone now because the hydrogen inhalation and drinking the hydrogen water was able to get rid of them. That was pretty cool. But I did, that happened. And yeah, people can say, oh, there was a nutrient issue, a macronutrient imbalance, a nutrient imbalance that caused that. Sure. I'm sure there was something. Okay.
Sure.
Everybody knows what's wrong with you when you put yourself on the internet and diagnoses you with all kinds of things.
I know.
It's so exhausting. I'm like,
it can be.
Yeah. I get it. People want to help, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Well, help or I don't know. Show off knowledge. I don't know.
I'm just putting it out there. I put stuff out there because I want people to know that it's a thing. It is a thing. And
it is.
We have so many people have issues behind the scenes, and they don't talk about it because they don't want that kind of scrutiny, because it does suck to have everybody telling you what's wrong with you. Like, that's why I didn't talk about my infertility struggles until after I figured it out, because I didn't want anyone giving me advice. I wanted to figure it out myself. But this kind of stuff happens with health influencers, people online, It does. And they don't tell you about it. They don't tell you. I get messages from people that are like, their body is freaking out from protocols and things they saw online that were really popular for specific amounts of time. And even people with big followings, they still have issues. So everyone's human. We all make mistakes. We all are subject to the laws of nature. And I think it's important that we share stuff like that. So
yeah, I think it's important to be transparent 100%
yeah,
and to provide the nuance, the voice of nuance, which is just lacking. It's just lacking.
Nuance. And when you work with clients, like that's one thing, not to cut you off, but like one conversation you and I've had so often is that there's a lot of people out there that are researchers. They do not actually work with clients. I've been working with clients in some capacity for the last 10 plus years in some capacity, working one-to-one with people. The last 5-6 years, it's been a lot more intensely. But when you talk to people and see them applying this information and you see people have problems, you're like, wait a second, this one size fits all approach and this like, oh, this doesn't do that statement doesn't hold up, right?
That's exactly it. Yeah. I've been working with people now since 2004 in one-on-one situations. And there's not one thing that I could say is going to work for everyone all the time. Right. There is nuance to all of this. Okay. So let's go to another thing. So something else that I got wrong was I started off and I was using clear blue blockers at night.
Oh yes. I had those too.
It's like, I heard I need blue blockers. So I went on Amazon and I got a pair of clear blue blockers and I'm like, I don't really know if these are helping out a ton.
Yeah, no, I did the same thing. I think I actually have a photo from my early carnivore days on my Instagram. I might have deleted it. I deleted a bunch of old stuff. Because I had a pair from like Diff Wear or something like that because they were cute. But yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah. So those ones, and if everyone's curious, like those literally block like a small percentage of 5 of the wavelengths that, and you need to block like 80 wavelengths in order to get the effect, right? So they didn't work. And so very shortly thereafter, I found orange tone ones. I was like, oh, maybe these will be different. And so, that was a mistake I made. I think it's an easy one for people to fall prey to because the yellow ones and the orange ones look stupid. I get it. People, they look weird to people. And so it would be easy to be like, oh, can I still just look like a modern human and get the benefits? And it just didn't pan out.
Doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I know. It's sorry. Yeah.
Can I think of one for you, Sarah?
Please.
Okay. I'm not that I want to call you out, but remember when you used to put your red light therapy panel on top of my water?
On top of my water. Yes. We want to talk a little bit about why we both use more red light therapy in the winter really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Come summer, it is so easy for me to pop outside for 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Take the clothes off and just soak up the natural light, right? And I know you do. I know you do the same. And it's beautiful because we're getting all of those red and near infrared wavelengths from the sun and imparting all those healing benefits from sunlight. But come, November, December in Michigan, there's very little opportunity for me to do that. It's just too cold, and so I'll go outside and get my light signaling through my eyes, but my skin really, that infrared and red that I want to absorb through my skin is just lacking. And so that's why I would highly recommend if you live in an environment like that, you consider using a red light therapy panel in the winter. It can be the biggest game changer.
Yeah. And we both love the Boncharge Mini. This is super convenient. You can take it with you traveling. You guys don't know when I'm recording the podcast, half the time I have it on my low back or somewhere in my body to mitigate some of this blue light. And for the months of November and December, you can use the code QuantumPod25 for November and December only to get 25% off the panel or anything on the Boncharge website. Carrie and I are both big fans.
Yeah. And one more thing really quickly with that. It's a great gift too, right? If you want to start getting people involved in this lifestyle and say it's the most convenient way, if there's a mom that who needs to tend to boo-boos and aches and pains for kids or earaches, tummy aches, sore throats, it's a phenomenal gift to give as well because it really can wipe away pain very fast.
I love it. All right, check it out. Link is in the show notes. Okay, so why do we not want to put our red light?
Well, what were you trying to do first?
I was trying to structure the water because I understood that infrared structured water, but I didn't know it was actually far infrared.
And the
was
water in our
more,
body.
yeah. And the panels are near infrared and red. And then also there's a lot of non-native EMF if you're just like right up on a panel. So it's basically like infusing my water with EMF.
Remember, I think you texted me and Corey a picture or something way back in the day.
Corey was like, no, I have to put
Don't
it
do that.
Corey was like, I got to put it into this right now. Corey didn't play around.
I know. Corey's like, yeah, don't do that.
Corey was very blunt with me about it. I was like, I'll delete it right now.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, but like you hear, I want to structure water, right? And that light structures water.
Right.
And that, so it was your best effort with that.
Yeah.
And then you learn better and you do differently. So now what's your go-to water structuring?
Mostly just intention. I mean, I forget to use my analemma wand 95% of the time, or I just don't have time.
And we have spring aqua and cosmic towers.
I have spring aqua. And then I also drink everything out of the blue bottle.
Yeah.
Really.
Yep.
And so I'll fill this with hydrogen water, set it in the sunlight for like 30 seconds or a minute, and then bring it inside. Yeah. I don't have an extensive structuring protocol, honestly.
Well, I think, I think it already is the types of things that we're doing in terms of what we're drinking the water out of, the spring aqua, just even having like biogeometry or harmonizers or the indigo gabbro, having things like that, the cosmic tower in our environment is imparting structure into the water. And I mean, I know that to be the case because you and I have tried to use Veda's technique on tap water, toilet water, distilled water. It's very hard to not find structured water.
Unstructured in my house. I really can't unless I like on purpose put it on top of a cell phone Wi-Fi plugged into the wall. Like that's it. Yeah. That's Yeah.
So okay. Yeah. So with water, other common mistakes, and I think that I started making too. The first one was just drinking reverse osmosis water
with no minerals. Yeah.
No minerals.
We needed to just filter the water, but not being cognizant of actually remineralizing that water.
Yeah, exactly. And so that was one where I was just like, I know it's better because I'm not drinking the fluoride, but I didn't notice as much of a difference, or I didn't want to drink more so. I didn't want to drink water as much as I do now. I love drinking water now. And I used to not like that because I think it was the reverse osmosis water. My body was just kind of like, this is kind of lifeless,
My husband, I'm like, it's a huge step now because I used to clean friggin' water bottles out of his car nonstop. And then I'd find he was giving them to the kids. I'm like, please stop. And now he's so used to the water that I make that he actually fills up like the hydrogen water bottle and takes it with him on the road when he's out. He's like, nice. Or if he goes to his parents' house, he's like, I can't drink their water now. What's wrong with me? I'm like, just take here. Let me fix you a bottle, honey. Like he takes his water that I make with him everywhere. He won't he's like, I can't drink the bottled water. It's disgusting. I'm like, yes, it's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
He's finally like shifted to understand like what good quality water is. It's not just about filtration. Bottled water is mostly garbage. If we're out and we have to get something, I'm like, try to find Mountain Valley spring water in glass.
Gerolsteiner, I try to find as well.
Gerolsteiner. Yep.
That's one you can typically find. So
yeah. So those are positive things in the right direction.
Yeah. Another one I can think of right now of mistake was I used to freak out, and we've talked about this, but I used to freak out when a light got flipped on at night.
I was so glad you said that because that's one I get with a lot of clients is like, oh, my kids turned the light on, my husband turned the light on, it ruined everything. I'm like 2 seconds, 3 seconds of a light being on is not going to ruin everything. Right.
And your reaction to that could ruin your relationships.
And make it worse. Yeah.
Right. Make it worse. Put some tension where it doesn't need to be. So we're resilient. And the thing about circadian rhythm, you could put people in a cave or a bunker, and they will still have some circadian rhythmicity, that it starts to go haywire over time.
Mhm.
And the more disconnected they are also from the Schumann resonance
Yeah.
and the electron fluctuation, the charge fluctuation that Dr. Conover talked with us about, the Carnegie curve.
Yes.
If you disconnect from all those things, you can start to see the circadian rhythmicity go really, really wonky. But
Mhm.
if you're someone who's been engaging in this stuff, your body, that one little
Reset.
hit is not going to make or break anything. Now, if you were to be under fluorescent lighting for 2 hours before bedtime all the time, that's what we're talking about. Or staring at a
Right.
TV screen,
All the time. It's all the
all right,
time. Yeah.
right.
I mean, I went to stay with some relatives in October and it was in October. It was after sunset. It was definitely dark outside and they had big bright lights on. We ate dinner under big bright fluorescent lights. They had the lights on until 9 o'clock at night. Um, was I going to freak out and tell them I wasn't going to eat the dinner that they cooked for me and be a complete what to them? Absolutely not. I ate dinner with them. I enjoyed being with them. It's family that I haven't seen in a long time. And I allowed the mitochondrial benefits of like joy and happiness to offset some of the blue light and some of that. And I slept just fine. As soon as we were done hanging out, spending time together, it was like still 9 o'clock, blue blockers on, go to my room, wind down, do my stuff. And I was fine, drink a little extra. I brought my Quinton minerals with me and all my stuff. And yeah, it's fine. It didn't ruin everything for one evening of spending some time with some relatives.
Yeah, exactly. Or similar, just like freaking out about traveling, like, oh,
Mhm.
I'm going to be on an
Mhm.
airplane. It's like, all right, it's like, believe,
Yeah.
I mean, now, living this lifestyle with a young family now, we've traveled, we've been able to
You guys have been
travel.
everywhere.
We've been everywhere. We travel a ton because, I had a conference in Maui and we all went.
Mhm.
That was like, 11 hours of plane rides, then to Europe, right? To get to Europe
Mhm.
and back, about
Portugal.
7 hours.
Yes.
And you can adjust,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Yes, there's some supports that I really like, but like, I almost think the anxiety that I used to have of,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, I need to pack this to make sure that I
Yeah.
can maintain this lifestyle. It's like, now I'm like, where's my blue blockers?
Yeah.
Where's my
Blue
molecular
blockers,
hydrogen? Right.
earplugs, hydrogen tablets, Quinton.
Yep. Boom.
It's basic.
Boom. So
Yeah. It's the thing is that I say this all the time. We are so programmed to believe that health has to be very complicated. It has to be um, like something we are constantly having to outsource our intelligence. Everybody is asking you constantly to outsource your intelligence and your common sense. And I think that's one of the most daunting things about where I sit sometimes is that I get questions and I have compassion for people because I know that they're deeply programmed by like, please don't have common sense. Please, you don't know the best thing for you. Um, but sometimes I just want to say, well, what does your common sense tell you about the situation? What does your intuition tell you about this situation? And a lot of times it's just there's a disconnect there and people have lost the ability to trust themselves completely.
yeah, they get caught. They get caught in this state of, I can't possibly know what's best for me, and so
Right.
we have to outsource stuff. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Or the whole thing in the people in this quantum circadian space, lovely people. We've got so many amazing colleagues in this space,
Yep.
but you'll hear different things for different
Different
people. You'll
things.
have some
Yep.
people who say you absolutely have to wear that EMF hoodie on an airplane, and you'll have people like me. I'm like, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna take
No.
that. Like I'm packing light. I don't have room for that EMF hoodie when I'm,
Right.
packing a backpack
Right.
for 4 days in Florida. I'm not gonna pack that. So
Right.
it's just, and so that's where the intuition needs to kick in. Have you tried that before? Do
Mhm.
you need it? Do you feel better using it? If you do, well, great. That's wonderful. I'm glad you found that out for you. But I
Mhm.
think sometimes people hear that what other people are packing, and it's like, like a nice list of 10 different things, and
Mhm.
it means that they have to do the exact same thing. It's like, no, these
Right.
are options for you. Like, from a quantum circadian lifestyle, here's some options that might support you. What do you think is going to be best for you? And give it a try. Now, Kelly Bento from Soleil Well, she did specifically say that it wasn't until she started using like portable red light therapy on the abdomen, like on an
While
airplane. She
traveling.
used to have gut issues while traveling, and she found that that worked for her. And that's a
Mm,
huge thing. There's a huge connection between jet lag and, let's say gut
I
inflammation
see. Oh, yeah.
increasing. So maybe that might be something that someone else needs as well.
Yeah.
But I don't think, again, I don't think it has to be perfect for people
Yeah.
or obsessive, if you will.
Yeah.
Um, the way I used to make it seem like that, it's or like it's here's the analogy also. First time mom, when you pack the baby bag and it's got
Run
like
everything.
75 things just to go to like the play date at the park. And then baby number two, baby number three, you're like, oh, it's okay. Like you don't bring anything. You don't bring,
Right. You're like,
let me
oh,
just quickly throw a diaper in my purse and a couple of wipes, stick a couple of wipes in my pocket. Oh, you're good.
yeah, exactly. Like, fine.
Done. So yeah, it's just, I think the more you kind of play around with this, the more you realize, wow, I was unnecessarily obsessive about certain things. And I'm so happy now to be at the point where I know what works for me and I don't have
Mhm.
to be that way, because I don't think that's ultimately healthy in the long run.
Yeah, definitely agree. Definitely agree. What one other thing I did was the grounding mats plugged into the wall, like a regular wall with like dirty electricity. And I'm like, oh, why do
Yeah.
I not feel so great when I'm using this grounding mat? And it was you and Corey again. I was doing the course that you guys put together years ago.
Quantum self, it was like 5 years ago now, quantum self-healing masterclass.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it was Corey and you both who were telling me about the grounding rod and using the grounding rod. And I still find even here with the grounding rod, it's like, not like we just have so many cables and things running underground. If I'm going to ground, I'm just going to go outside and do it. Um, I'm not really going to, I don't feel the need to use a mat or sheets or anything like that, especially since I'm in a pretty urban environment. Yeah, I'm just going to go
Yeah.
outside.
I love
Spend money
Laura's
on these things.
products.
Yes.
So until I got that
The
particular one, the
pleather.
one that I had before that was from a very reputable company, but it was
Mhm.
pleather.
Yeah, the pleather one. I had that too.
And it just, for me, I'm like, how is sticking my feet on this? It just
The
didn't
pleather.
feel
I know.
like it was helping. Like I didn't notice a difference. And also I just stick my feet on it. I'm like, this just doesn't feel right. And so I'm like,
Yeah.
and that's where that was before I really trusted my intuition.
Yeah.
Now, if I'd have been like, this doesn't feel right, I'd been like, no, thanks, send it back.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, earthing outside. Or the other one with earthing is, well, how long do it's like, I thought you had to do it only
All at
for like
once.
20 minutes or longer
Right.
to get a benefit.
Right. Right.
And it's like, no, the benefits happen right away. And then
Instantaneous.
maybe
Yeah.
you get a little bit of an amplified effect. Or if you're trying to calm aggressive inflammation in your body, you do want to do it continuously.
Mhm.
But you're still getting a benefit, even if you do it for seconds.
Yeah, exactly. The more is better, like, and it has to be done perfectly. And I think that's where people get caught up with the sunlight protocols, the grounding protocols, is they're like, I'm behind a mountain, I'm behind trees, I'm in a valley, like da da da. I'm like, just go, you go outside when the sun's coming up. Doesn't matter. It's
Just
okay.
go.
You
Yeah.
just go. You just go. And if you get 5 minutes today, but an hour tomorrow, cool. That's going to even out.
Mhm.
It's a cumulative effect. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be, it's not a specific like 5 seconds of this and 10 seconds of that, and then switch it up. And it's like, no, we're retraining our body to reconnect with the thing that we've lost, the biggest thing that we've lost. And the body's so intuitive and it wants this so much that you don't have to overcomplicate it, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. The consistent behavior is more important than the
Yes,
duration.
consistent behavior.
Right.
Well,
And
one more thing I want to address. Were you about to say something?
oh, no, go ahead.
I don't know if you get this a lot in your community. I get this probably once every 2 weeks. Even I'm like, did you guys use the search function? No, it's okay. It's okay. I live in XYZ Northern Place. I'm going to XYZ Southern Place on a vacation. Do
Yeah.
I wear sunscreen? Is sunscreen toxic? I should stay away from sunscreen. Do I just go out in the sun? Do I just let my kids play out in the sun all day? And I'm like,
Oh, yeah, I did this wrong, but I did this wrong too, right? We talked about this in the previous episodes where I thought, oh, okay, if I adapt my skin, let's go December from Michigan and go to Florida,
Florida.
and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, because I saw the sunrise on day one, I can just bathe my body in all the light that it needs, or all the light that I want, and it's not going to potentially be an issue. Oh, I got fried. I got
Hmm.
fried that first. And so
I've done
I
that.
still wouldn't wear sunscreen,
Yeah.
but you can make you can make a smart, slow adaptation and then
Yeah.
bring a cover up.
Yeah. Bring a cover up. And if you absolutely are just have to be out in the sun, zinc oxide,
Yeah.
that's the one that
Non-nano. Yeah.
yeah. And I don't have a brand because I haven't used it because I don't.
The company that I had on hand back in the day that I liked was from Clearwater Cultures.
Okay.
It's also who I get my shampoo bar from, who I
Nice.
really love. But yeah,
Nice.
good quality stuff. They put some probiotics in it too. I mean, like skin healthy stuff as well, and some
Yeah.
herbs and things. So
Yeah.
yeah, you can adapt. I mean, like I have had people also. It's so interesting too because I had someone say, just leave me a comment probably a couple weeks ago that was, oh yeah, so I went from X Y Z whatever northern latitude to Thailand, and I did these strategies. And I didn't wear any sunglasses, and I normally would
Mm.
fry, and
Yeah.
kind of by paying attention to my skin and
Yes.
slowly adapting and getting that morning light. And they were there for a week and they just tanned. They had no issues
Okay.
whatsoever. So
Yeah.
again, being aware of your sun signals and
Yes.
being
Yes.
smart about it, it makes a difference. But yeah, you can overdo it.
You can. Yeah. And like we talked about in last week's episode, there's value, I think, and I do it in wearing a hat, keeping your face covered, keeping these areas like the chest that they're just getting sun exposure all the time
All the
from just
time.
being outside, just walking around, just doing our normal everyday stuff and not purposefully trying to be in the sun. It's just happening because we happen to be outdoors taking a walk or whatever. Those areas, your hands, they're going to get more sun exposure regardless. And
Mhm.
so if you're going to purposefully lay in the sun and get some sun exposure, I do. I always put my head under the shade. I'll cover up this part of my chest a lot of the time because it's already got a lot of sun exposure. And that's not going to, in my opinion, that's not going to negate the benefits of getting sun exposure. You're not covering
Agreed.
your eyes, you're not putting on sunglasses, you're just putting these body parts in the shade that don't necessarily need more sunlight.
Agreed. I agree completely because a lot of this, yes, there is some direct contact that needs to happen with the sun to make vitamin D, but that vitamin D doesn't just stay local in that
Mm-mm.
one little particular area because it's in the blood and it can get ferried wherever it needs to go. And so I think it's a beautiful strategy, and that's exactly what I do as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I know you have to head, but we
Yeah, I
also
got
wanted to do a
child
little
pickup.
plug for your retreat that's coming up in
Oh
June.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And that you're a speaker at.
Yeah.
So it's good. So I'm co-hosting a retreat with Oksana Hansen, and it's going to be just south of Nashville in Franklin, Tennessee. And it's called the Return to Nature Retreat. And so we're basically just bringing people, both speakers and participants, who just want to learn how to live and heal and feel good through the lens of nature.
Mhm.
Because, like you said before, it doesn't have to necessarily be this extensive protocol, and we want people to kind of to experience the effect of being in a more natural environment, but also hear some of the science behind why this is actually supportive. So
Mhm.
we've got you speaking, I'm speaking, Oksana is speaking, Dr. Sarah Pugh is speaking, Stephen Hussey is speaking. We've got I'm drawing a blank on the head scientist from Morosco Forge talking
Oh,
about
cool.
cold. Yeah. So we just have an amazing lineup of people who share the similar mindset. Like it doesn't, the sometimes the simple things are overlooked because they
Mhm.
seem too good to be true, but in actuality there is such value to it. And so we want people to learn and experience what that's like so that they can take that forward into their lives. And just frankly, I also just want to nerd out and connect and hang out with people like
Yeah.
you, and
It's
just
going to
kind
be
of just,
fun.
chat with other people who get it in this
Totally.
sense. So yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Well,
so
we'll
that's
be able.
June 26th and 27th. And you can go to carriebwellness.com and you can purchase retreat tickets there.
Awesome. And I'll put a link down in the show notes too for anybody who's
Great.
listening.
Yeah,
But
put your code too, your discount code.
oh yeah, nice. I will do that.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, this has been fun. If you're listening to this over on my channel on Evolving Wellness, make sure you subscribe and head over to Quantum Conversations. And if you're on Quantum Conversations, thanks for being here and listening.
See you next time.